Yeah, I must have liked this one. I don't necessarily finish all of them on camera, and this one's gone. I would seriously take a look at this one if you're not familiar with it. Welcome to Whiskey's Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. You guys are watching my mini-series, my Monday mini-series on Japanese whiskey. I have 2 Japanese whiskeys left, and then I'm gonna shift gears and move on to rye whiskeys. So today's journey is gonna take us to the distillery of Yoichi, and we're gonna be looking at the single malt Yoichi. So just like always, let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it, and then if you stick around until the end, I'm gonna give it a score. So the single malt Yoichi is coming in at 43% ABV. It's a single malt, doesn't have an age statement. It's chill filtered, it's not natural color. This is a 750 milliliter bottle, and in Phoenix, Arizona, this is coming in at $88.99. I think that's pretty much the same price as the Miyagikyo. So let's get this on the nose and see what we're dealing with. Peated, absolutely peated, right off the bat. Behind the peat, there is a pineapple sweetness, a fruit sweetness, a little bit of tobacco and leather. Get a little bit of a spice in there as well, probably a white pepper or black pepper, just a pepper note in general, and a little bit of candy sweetness as well. Not quite fruit, but a sugary sweet like candy. Let's get that first sip down, see what we're dealing with. That's a good amount of peat. I wouldn't say that it's overpowering, and the peat note that I'm getting is a little bit salty, and it's more towards the barbecued meat, the smoked meat portion, rather than the medicinal band-aidy kind of peat. Beyond that, we've got some sweetness. It rounds out the palate pretty well. It seems to be sticking a little bit. Not too much development from the arrival to the mid palate and the finish. It seems to be one solid peat and sweet and peppery note. Yeah, liking that so far. But again, you can't trust that first sip, so let's go ahead and get in for that second sip and see if anything else kind of reveals itself. All right, on that second sip, not as much peat. Maybe it's because you acclimate to it or I'm acclimating to it. The sweetness now is starting to take over a little bit more. I get that candy sweetness, like a sugary sweetness, not necessarily a fruit sweetness, like the pineapple I got on my initial sip. Doesn't really develop into anything like I had on that first sip. Seems to be pretty consistent all the way through from the front of the palate to the finish. Medium finish, I wouldn't say that this is lingering even with that peated note to it. And just like most Japanese whiskey, it has that clean, crisp, fragile kind of note to it. I'm gonna be curious to see how this actually holds up to water. See if that peat note stays there or if it gets diminished. Let's go with that third sip. We'll add water to it, talk about the distillery, talk about Yoichi, and then give it a score. All right, on that sip, as I was breathing in, I definitely got pineapple again, followed by a candy sweetness. The smoke came back a little bit. The peppery note is now towards the back end. It rounds out. Don't think there's anything sharp about this in any way. Soft on the palate. It's not too thin. That ABV, 45% ABV, kind of sticks around, but the finish isn't long. It's medium. Let's go ahead and add some water to this and see if it actually changes anything. And just like always, make sure you're using filtered water. You don't want to influence the taste of the whiskey with tap water and the minerals that are in there. And try not to brush your teeth or eat anything before you actually get into a review of a whiskey. All of those things seem to change the profile of the whiskey, and you want to kind of get the cleanest possible palate as you can so you can actually taste the whiskey. All right, so what do we know about the whiskey? Well, first of all, it is a single malt, and it falls into the guidelines that were passed in February of 2021. So they're not gonna have to really do anything with the labeling here. It meets that requirement. And again, whether those things are gonna be enforced or not, I have no idea. The casks that are used here are New American Oak, ex-sherry, ex-bourbon, and the casks are refilled, remade, and recharred. Now that I'm talking and thinking about what I'm getting just in the mouth, that vanilla and the caramel notes are coming through as well. Maybe it's just the power of suggestion. Now that I'm thinking ex-bourbon, that always creeps into my head. And the term single malt, this is actually a blend of single malts from Yoichi, but it still falls into the category of a single malt. It's all coming from the same distillery, so it gets that category of single malt. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, Yoichi Distillery is the first distillery from Masataka Taketsuru. And when Taketsuru ended up leaving the Yamazaki distillery, he was trying to find a location that was very similar to the Scottish landscape, and he found a place in Yokkaido in northern Japan, and it ended up building the Yoichi distillery. And it kind of matched the climate that he was used to when he went over to Scotland and did his apprenticeship. The distillery was built in 1934, distillation started in 1936, and they ended up producing their first whiskeys in 1940, or actually marketing and selling their first whiskeys in 1940. And what's interesting about this one, as opposed to the the Miyagikyo distillery is indirect heating with coils and steam, but this one, they're using their direct coal fire pot stills. And that seems to be pretty old school because it's very difficult to control the temperatures. And they're saying that this is what's giving the Yoichi single malts their distinct characteristics. And to finish off the history of Masataka Taketsuru, he ended up passing away at the age of 85 back in August 29th of 1979. All right, let's go ahead and see what the water's done to this, if anything at all, and then we'll go ahead and move on and give it a score. Seems to be the peat is completely disappeared now. I still get pineapple, and now there's a little bit more of an apple and a grape note that's coming through. I wouldn't quite say a green grape or a green apple, but it seems to be a lighter side of those fruits. Not getting much spice either. Let's give it a sip and see if it changed the taste. Peat on the palate, nice sweetness, spice more in the back end now. A little bit longer of a finish. I think the character of this whiskey actually came out with a few drops of water. A little more complex with the water than without the water. A well-rounded whiskey has now turned out to be even more well-rounded. Let's get that final sip down and let's give it a score. There's a good amount of peat there still, and I'm getting more of a barbecue meat, barbecue smoke than I am the medicinal side of things. The saltiness is coming through, the brininess is coming through, pepper on the back end, a little bit longer of a finish. Not too long, I'd say medium to long. All right, so my scoring system is out of 5 stars. All around, I think this is a very good peated Japanese style single malt. I think it offers a very good balance of smoke and sweet. When you add the water to it, it gets a good amount of pepper and spice to it. The finish being medium to long. I'm actually gonna put this just above the Miyagikyo. I'm gonna put this one at 3.95. And the reason I'm going to do 3.95 is if I had a choice between reaching for the Miyagikyo or the Yoichi, I'm going to reach for the Yoichi, and I believe it's because of that peat element and how the peatiness goes through a little bit of a roller coaster. You get it, it disappears, you add the water, it shows back up again, but on the palate, but not on the nose. Good all around, well-rounded, crisp, clean, peated Japanese single malt. All right, so what do you guys think? Are you familiar with any of the Japanese whiskeys that I've done so far in my series? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking. If you're liking the information, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you're interested in this content, subscribe to the channel. Turn on that bell notification because I'm going to start producing and releasing videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you know anybody in the whiskey world that might get enjoyment out of this, go ahead and share it with them. And with that, just like always, enjoy your journey, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Yeah, I must have liked this one. I don't necessarily finish all of them on camera, and this one's gone. I would seriously take a look at this one if you're not familiar with it.